we are back here on Girl Talk, and yes, we just said this is quite the educational show today. Kelly's joined us from StoneWorks, and as always, you just got back from your conference.
I did. We had our trade show, which we call Coverings. It was in Atlanta this year, and it's where our vendors from all over the world come and present the newest and latest and greatest.
And so the natural question
for
designers. And there are seminars and there are all kinds of like business things, but it's all the new kind of tips and trends. What are the trends? What are you seeing?
You know, what we're seeing, believe it or not, is what we've had in our showroom. So I'm pretty proud that we have really, that we are cutting edge. That's right. No, the porcelain tiles that look like wood are the rage.
I know.
They are still very popular, and they look great.
They're amazing.
They look so
me
much
out.
like I've used them a few times. You all had to talk me into the first time. You did, but after that, I've used it probably in 4 or 5 different applications.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it looks amazing no matter what the design style is. Like it would
Oh
look
yeah,
good.
oh it looked great.
Because you're thinking you've got dogs or
it's
moving
perfect.
furniture across it or something.
Yeah.
And,
It's very forgiving, I guess.
Are you seeing
Very
a
much.
lot of the great? What are the color tones that sort of emerged at this conference?
You know, I think a lot of what you're seeing here in the background, anywhere from like a washed out driftwood to a dark mahogany look. So they're really, you go from kind of a formal look to a very informal, look as well. So.
Oh, I think it's, what about size and shape? You know, we're talking about color, we're talking about what it looks like. What about the size? You know, we've gone from the wee little mosaics and then kind of the decorative
well, then you've got this behind.
Yeah, look at that big.
That's
Large format tiles are very popular. Even in ceramics, like just wall tile, you're starting to go from a 3x6 to maybe a 4x20 or a 6x20. So, everything just seems to be growing.
On scale. What's the
bit, and it really
advantage
is
of that?
fun.
And what does it feel like and look like?
Is it advantage because of design or advantage because of
Well, I
installation?
think probably both. I think that you do have less grout, the larger sizes
I'm
that you
into
have.
less grout.
But I think you also can achieve maybe more of a contemporary look as well.
And I love that look.
Nice and different.
Exactly. I think it's amazing. And if you haven't had a chance to come to StoneWorks, you got to come to.
well.
You really
Speaking
do
of the
stuff.
looks, I'm going to go talk to, or you're going to talk
Or you
to.
are. We'll flip. We'll do one. There you go.
a new staff member that really helps with achieving the look that you desire and being able to see that before the install is done.
Oh,
Cool. That
that's
sounds
nice.
great. Well, I won the rock, paper, scissors with Deb, so I get to talk to you, both of you all. Ernest Lopez, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Bryan, thank you for joining us. As always, it's a treat to talk with you. This is really very interesting. And from a consumer standpoint and from a designer standpoint, I feel like you are cutting edge and doing things that no one is doing around here in the field. Talk to us a little bit about what is happening here.
Okay, Debbie. With StoneWorks, my background has mostly been in fabrication, and just recently I've moved over to the sales force. One of the challenges that I've struggled with, at least in the very beginning, has been how to portray these ideas that we have to the client. Words just only work so well when you're talking about backsplash countertops.
And I think often, Bryan, because there are so many component pieces to it, I feel like I'm a designer and I'm pretty good at my visualization, but still it would be very nice to be able to touch and really see.
That's true. So we've come up with something with using Ernest here. Ernest is an architectural designer, and what I'm able to take a granite sample, a cell phone photo, and say a sample of a backsplash tile. Turn that over to Ernest, and he can produce for us digital renderings that are a lifelike photo. It's photo quality of a customer's kitchen, and it's extremely helpful in presenting what the end product's going to look like.
Well, let me talk to you about this. How does it really work? Do I come in as the client and then I talk to my salesperson, and then do you do the interpreting, or how does all that work?
Yeah, the sales person gets together with the client.
Okay.
You guys kind of come up with different screens.
Okay, so you kind of got the idea in your mind. Okay.
And then I kind of put it in paperwork and the computer, and actually put you in that space with the material and then the options are easily interchangeable.
Well, and let's show a couple people what you've done, because I think it's really, you know, sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. Do you give Ernest kind of an idea of what you're thinking, and then you can take liberties with that if you.
That's correct. Yeah, and he's also, if something's not quite right, we'll show that to the customer, and he can interchange colors.
Okay.
And that's
And we try to do everything to what's on site. We try to get measurements, make sure everything's correct to scale. So the more realistic, the better.
I mean, just to have an architectural drawing. Yeah, look at this. Now, tell us about this real quickly.
This is a program called Revit. It's an Autodesk program. And what we're able to do in here is get any drawing, hand sketch, plans from an architect, designer, and pretty much create a 3D model. It's the space, so you can visualize it.
Even I can visualize that. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And as always, and I have to pitch you guys because I've been part of the family for an awful lot of years, I think that you all are always looking toward the future and what is new and what is creative and what works for the client. And it's really impressive. So thank you for joining us. We want to thank all of you for joining us here on Girl Talk. Have a great week. Bye-bye.